Greetings to all participants in today's side event on agroecology and food security, and my thanks to FAO for inviting me to contribute a few thoughts to today's event. My name is Dennis Garrity. I am the Drylands Ambassador for the United Nations Convention on Desertification and was former Director General at the World Agroforestry Center here in Nairobi, and currently serving as the chair of the partnership to create an Evergreen Agriculture. I look forward to sharing with you three observations on the role of agroecology in making agriculture more productive and sustainable right now and in the future. My first point is that agroecology is getting more attention today than ever before, and that is great. But it is also important to remember that agroecology is not new at all. In fact, it's a body of knowledge that really came together scientifically back in the 1980s. And that knowledge itself was built on the experience and keen observations of farmers down through the centuries. It came of age not long after ecology itself became recognized as an important aspect of the management of our ecosystems and environment, after the first Earth Day in 1970, and the realization that there was important principles from ecology that could inform better and cheaper ways of farming. Agroecology was indeed a very young field when I was the head of the agroecology unit at the International Rice Research Institute in the Philippines during the 1980s. The science of farming by agroecological principles was just coming together in those days. But now we have such a wealth of knowledge at our disposal about how farmers can save money by using agroecological principles while producing more and regenerating the soil and land that is so important to future production. My second observation is actually that agroecological farming is sometimes seen as more traditional and unsuited to the modern business-like way to farm. Nothing, however, could be further from the truth. Farming agroecologically is a more sophisticated and a more knowledge-intensive way of farming than conventional approaches. And it's in fact, the whole idea behind agroecology is to farm smarter by using intelligently the ways that can be practiced to maximize productivity while saving on investments in costly chemical inputs. Now, integrated pest management is a great example of this. Managing pests in a rice field or a maize field by stimulating the populations of the natural predators that eat and do their job by eating up the pests is a classic example, and thus saving money by the lower use of chemical pesticides in turn. FAO has done a wonderful job over the past several decades in deploying IPM in agriculture all over the world. My third point is that agroecological farming is often confused with organic farming. Organic agriculture is one way of practicing agroecology because organic farming does use agroecological principles. But it is good to remember that any conventional farm can improve its bottom line by applying agroecological principles to the production of its crops, its livestock, and its trees. Be it a large input-intensive farm or a small farm, a cash-intensive farm or a cash-poor farm. The principles and practices of agroecology are being tailored to them all. The basic idea is to better use the biological resources that are there on the farm to complement and synergize with whatever purchased inputs are being used to augment production into cropping systems. We call this evergreen agriculture because these trees and shrubs provide so many additional benefits that they can help to intensify production and provide more diversification of income as well. And there are many variations of evergreen agriculture. For example, this wheat field in France, where walnut trees are incorporated through alley cropping. Also, in countries like China and India, where wheat also is produced on millions of hectares by incorporating timber trees into the production system, earning more income, providing more biomass and organic matter, and also increasing total income dramatically. Well, in the tropical situation, there is an amazing range of evergreen agriculture farming practices, actually. One of the most exciting is the integration of nitrogen-fixing trees into farming systems of commercial zero-tillage maize production, like you see in this picture here. And in the drylands all across Africa, currently, millions of farmers are now culturing trees in their croplands in order to increase their yields and buffer those yields for climate variability, particularly drought stress. This practice is now being promoted by the African Union and the World Bank as a foundational practice on dryland farms all over the continent. I'm so proud that FAO's efforts are bearing fruit and that the Friends of Agroecology are providing a platform for the exchange of knowledge and views about how farmers everywhere can succeed better and the world can benefit more by applying the vast storehouse of knowledge, of science that we now have in agroecology. Through your efforts, these benefits can grow and be spread far and wide, and we can begin to imagine that someday all farming will be indeed agroecological farming. And then, I suppose, our children and grandchildren will look back at what we are doing today, and they will chuckle at how backward our so-called modern day ways of farming actually are, lacking the sophistication of applied agroecological knowledge. So let us get to work together. Thank you.